Caravaggio didn't paint saints. He painted regular folks, ladies of the evening, criminals, tavern people, regular people, some friends, some not. No AI people, just real people. Scorsese didn't just film movies, he also filmed Caravaggio paintings that move. And I'm going to show you how to shoot like this on the streets of Vietnam. And I also have a bonus artist that I call like a bonus bridge artist that I think will surprise you, that links the two together, at least for me, maybe for you too. All right, let's get started. When Caravaggio arrived in Rome in 1592, when he started painting everything, everybody has an illusion of Rome, and it's just this fantasy, I guess, from watching shows like the Medicis or just all the other shows on TV but Rome was not a pretty place all the way around. At the time, it was just a place to be for artists, but there was hundreds of artists flocking to Rome because in Rome was kind of like social media today. Everybody that wanted to be an artist, wanted to create something, they knew where to go. And in Rome, the Vatican was like the algorithm of YouTube. If you wanted to be seen and found and get work, the best place was for the church, because the church wanted paintings that would connect to the people against Protestantism at that time. At first, the Vatican didn't care for the way Caravaggio painted using real folks, street people, prostitutes, criminals, tavern people, just regular people. And they didn't care for that, but because the way he represented them as saints, even paintings of Jesus in St. Matthew, which we'll talk about. But then they saw how the people reacted to his paintings using the chiaroscuro type light, the dramatic light and dark, which was fairly new at the time. It had been there, but not as dramatic as he made it, because he took it one step further into the tenebrism style of painting, and he pretty much kind of became known for that, which is extreme light and dark, which is some hidden, some unknown. Not everything is in the open. Not everything is like completely in view. It leaves more to interpretation, but also more for the viewer to form their own opinion. And that was pretty radical at the time, and but it worked, and the Vatican recognized it. In the calling of St. Matthew, there's an obvious direction of light from an unseen window, which is more characteristic, kind of everybody talks about. And we'll talk about that too in later videos, because I think there's something more in this painting that I would like to bring that I've really kind of not really heard that much or any about. The moment that Jesus calls Matthew, it's mentioned 3 times in the Bible, but they all say the same thing. Basically, Jesus says, "Hey, follow me." Matthew gets up, gone, follow him. But in the painting, Caravaggio picks that moment between Jesus saying, "Follow me," and him getting up following him, and you can clearly see where Matthew's going, who? Me? And I think this is vital because it's an in-between moment. It's the moment in between the question and the action. And I think that can be incredible in photography because it's not posed, it's more of an impromptu moment. Something's happening, but it's kind of fun, but it's real, and it's probably what happened. Because, Matthew was just a tax collector. He was sitting in, among people that weren't real favorable with the church, and, Jesus calls him. So, everybody in photography's heard of The Decisive Moment by Henri Cartier-Bresson, and that's, legendary street photographer, pioneer, icon. But what I'm talking about is a new moment, and I would just like to call it the in-between moment. And here's some of my images that I've taken in Vietnam over the past year or so, and where they use the light and the dark, and also some that I've trickled in, where I've started really thinking about that in-between moment that makes life just a little bit more fun, and it captures the streets of Vietnam real, because these people see me every day, and they kind of getting to know me, and it's kind of cool. My little artist bridge would be pictorialism. I like pictorialism a lot. I've studied it recently more than before, but I've always kind of known about it. But there's something about it just fascinates me because it was created out of a time when everybody was fighting the documented reality of photography because it was still fairly new, and you had this group of artists that wanted to push it toward the art form. Edward Steichen was a primary one of this, so he was creating his own art. And one that just comes to mind and I've always loved was his photograph of Rodin and the Thinker. And he actually was good friends with him, and he worked on this idea for a year, and he came up with this concept, and he pushed the lights and the darks, very, very similar to tenebrism. And I think it's a good link, and it's just something that I like to follow, and I'm going to include some more of the artists from this period of this time, simply because I think it was photographers finding their way in the art world in what we're doing today as photographers, finding our way in an art world that's bombarded with images that are created by not artists. So let's see what happens, but I hope you enjoy it. And let me know if you want to see more and what artists from the pictorialistic era that you might like to see. There's a ton, and it's pretty cool. But here's how I would edit my photographs to try and emulate best I can, still learning. And if you'd like to see some of the process more in depth, let me know. And now we have Scorsese. Scorsese's been shooting like Caravaggio for 50 years. He's even been quoted as being influenced by, and that's the original quote at the beginning of the video. He was a firm believer in studying the old masters and expanding your canvas. Some of these images that I'm showing you, from Silence, Flowers of the Killer Moon, Goodfellas, Gangs of New York, The Age of Innocence, all were just clips that I got off a shot deck. Not sponsored, not by any way. I pay for it with my own money. I think it's an incredible research tool. You can search by director. It also lists something that I really enjoy in a lot of the films, the film stock they used, and how I'm trying to emulate and learn about film stocks. And he used a lot of times Kodak Vision 300T, 500T, and how I can try and emulate that using Dehancer and other tools, not sponsored by any of them. I paid for all of them with my own money, but I hope to expand on the Dehancer and the Field Convert, CinePro, CinePrint, Color IO, all of them. I enjoy them. I enjoy learning, and we'll see what happens. And it's just a great tool. But Scorsese just took what he believed, using light and shadow, and just created images that are timeless. And here are just a few, and hope you like them and hope you enjoy them. And let me know what your favorite Scorsese movie is. Right now mine's Silence. I'm enjoying doing a lot of research and just rewatching some of the ones that I now see differently than I did the first time I watched them. This isn't just theory to me. I'm not a tourist in Vietnam. I lived here, been here a long time. Following is a time I got to visit a family in a home that made banh trang, which are rice crackers, and just the most incredible light. And it just was truly exactly what I thought with Caravaggio, Steichen, and Scorsese, with the light coming in and the steam coming off, and it was just perfect. So I hope you enjoy that. But it's how I'm becoming more influenced by Caravaggio, the Pictorialism era, looking more at movies and films like Scorsese and other directors. And let me know what other directors you'd like to see. I love research, and I love comparing and combining all three. So that's really kind of the goal that I've evolved this channel into, is combining photography with older photographers, younger photographers, modern directors, to the master painters of Caravaggio, Rembrandt, Vermeer. Vermeer's probably going to be next, so hope you enjoy that one and stick around and subscribe to see it so you don't miss it. Anyway, here's the result. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching.